had this enormous pull, like Sibel just mentioned. She had the social capital to invite the vice president of the United States to her lab, right?
Crazy, man.
To do damage control,
Crazy.
right? She had Henry Kissinger on her board. She had Betsy DeVos
honestly, I
on
didn't
her
even know
board.
Henry Kissinger was alive. Like, I've heard of him in
Dude, that
such
dude has been
words.
alive for, he must be, I don't know, 90 something or at this
The
point.
way I've heard of Henry Kissinger is like a historical figure, you know, like,
Dude, this guy has been involved in so much US messes abroad. He's like,
that's exactly my thought. I was like, oh, Henry, like, I was like, there's no way it could be the same guy. Like, but it is. I'm amazed.
I would
that he's
encourage
alive.
you to Google Henry Kissinger in your own time and just, yeah, he's yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, this is how you get in trouble, right? And so it's a tale almost as old as time. Is you may start out with good intentions, but at some point you start to take all the wrong steps and focus on all the wrong things, right? I mean, imagine if she had used her considerable resources to expedite research, right? To invite, to be like, look, we tried this and we're stumped. Let's get all the brightest minds in the world working on this at the same time. Kind of like how you were saying earlier, Sibel, right? With the mRNA thing is, you know, it was only when there was a forum of all the people who should be in the room, and these people came together to work together against, COVID, and really focus on this vaccine, that we saw some real progress. We were able to then, get this out to the everyday people like you and me, right? If her focus had been on, you know what, I tried this, but I really still believe that humanity should be in a position where we can do all kinds of screenings against one finger prick of blood. She could have then pivoted into becoming, a thought leader, right? In the field. She could have pivoted into becoming a thought leader and someone who actively facilitates bringing together all the brightest minds in the field. But no, she was instead
Maybe,
focused
I don't know.
on,
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, this is something that is actively being researched. It's just one of those things where it's like, COVID has also been one of the things that has been pushing this, which is like, testing technology is something that is constantly being pushed forward.
Absolutely.
It's something that is always going to be needed to be better. And there's always a driving force for it. So, I don't know. I think she underestimated the how difficult the problem was, frankly.
She did.
And I don't know if honestly, I think she lacks the expertise to be any sort of leader in this field. Like, this is a field where it's like PhDs only.
Right. But I keep saying, right, I agree with you 1000% that she was unqualified to be leading this. But even if she honestly thought that she was, and that she was smarter than everyone else, at the point where she realized that this was untenable, and she did not immediately make the steps to be honest about, the state of things and the way forward, that's when, she lost me, right? Because again, for me, there's nothing wrong with dreaming. I mean, the touch screen that we all take for granted today, at some point must have seemed like science fiction, right? So if we're going down that path, yes, by all means dream, but don't do crazy things like fake labs and you swap out equipment and deceive people and get contracts based on falsehoods.
Here's the thing. It's like, I agree with you. I really do. But like, for example, are you familiar with the first, what happened during the first, that first conference where the iPhone was announced by Jobs? So fun fact, the iPhone was so unstable that during the demo, they had 6 separate iPhones because it would crash after each single function that he was showing. So he was announcing something before it was even working. So I fear that Jobs. I mean, I think we've really, what we're pointing out is a broader issue. It
is. It's fake it till you make it. And so the defenders of Elizabeth Holmes will tell you that she wasn't doing anything that other people hadn't done before. And it's, in fact, being able to fake it convincingly in Silicon Valley is one of the requirements of a successful CEO in that society. Is you have to be able to project an air of calm, even if everything is falling apart internally in your organization. You have to be able to project that steady hand of stoic, calm, and convince everyone that everything is okay while you furiously work behind the scenes to make sure that everything does end up okay. Because if everything ends up okay, then who cares if you were a little premature about announcing this feature or that feature, as long as, at the end of the day, it comes through, right? That's fine. And so you're right. There is a broader culture in Silicon Valley where there's this pressure to always be in charge, to always seem like you know what you're doing. People think it's a weakness to admit that they have failed and that they're going to try again, or that things are not exactly what they thought they would be. Right. But hey, this is what we were able to achieve nevertheless, right? So it's that culture. And I do agree with you, like, that people like Steve Jobs did contribute a lot to that culture.
Because I mean,
with stories like this, why wouldn't she try her hand at it too?
Sure,
why would she think it would turn out any differently for her? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Like people people mention it often as, oh, wow, what a cool story. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, that was so deeply dishonest. Why would you do that?
That could have gone either way. Exactly.
Even if it's dishonest is the way I look at it. It is dishonest, and it is out of touch with reality. And I feel like a lot of the issues we have is when we as a society are so unaccustomed to being grounded to reality, is that becomes a major issue, especially when it comes to science and tech and things like that, right? I feel like that's a very important thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah. You know what? Let's go on a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap this up. I specifically want to talk about, what's happened more recently, and the effect of her legacy and all that stuff. Just to close out with that again, because I want to make sure that everyone's clear that Elizabeth Holmes is one person, and it's completely nonsensical to then jump from Elizabeth Holmes to the entire female gender, because I just think that's doesn't make sense. So we'll go on that quick break, and then we will be right back to wrap out this episode of Hairbrained Schemes. Don't go nowhere. Okay, we are back. And Sibel, you and I were talking the other day about how if you do a grift so good or a harebrained scheme so good, you can expect that at some point you will be getting emails or phone calls from Netflix, Hulu, or HBO.
Yeah, we need to, right? Someone needs to pass a really, really important law, because
aggressive
the Wolf
law.
of Wall Street and all and Delvey, these people need to stop winning in the long run because they made a good story. That's not okay, man. Fine, go ahead, make a show, make a movie, but they shouldn't see a single red cent, man. They should not see a single red cent.
Yeah. So, yep. there's been books published, starting with the John Carreyrou, Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup. And then the film rights to Carreyrou's book were purchased by Legendary Pictures nearly 2 years before the book was published.
Whoa.
The foresight on that.
I feel like January after Social Network, everyone was game for things like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a formula that works, so why not? In January 2019, ABC News, Nightline, and Rebecca Jarvis released a podcast and documentary about the Holmes story called The Dropout. And now there is going to be what's it called now? There's now going to be a show also called The Dropout.
Right.
On Hulu, right? Hulu is going to be doing a show called The Dropout based on that podcast, right? On March 18, 2019, HBO premiered the documentary The Inventor, Out for Blood in Silicon Valley. Why must you be so, the sensational headlines and sensational titles? The Inventor, Out for Blood in Silicon Valley.
I wish they had
2-hour documentary
been a little funnier with it. Out for a tiny bit of blood.
I know. For a finger prick of blood.
A finger prick of blood. Yeah, I like that better.
Right.
A thimble.
Right. I mean, this just sounds like a vampire series, right? Out for blood in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, just sounds like a vampire series. But yeah, so again, popular culture, these things get blown up, right? And so, it's not, I don't know that this is sending the right message. But like Sibel said, I think it would be much better if at least we're sure that these people are not seeing a single cent of the money made from all these artistic and media ventures, because that's just disconcerting to think that you do these things and then you get rewarded by, Netflix and Hulu and HBO and Disney Plus. There's Apple. In December 2021, Apple Studios created a storyboard for a feature film adaptation of John Carreyrou's book starring Jennifer Lawrence and directed by Adam McKay. These are big names, right? This is going to blow up. If it gets greenlit, this is going to blow up. So again, hopefully she's not seeing any of that money, because then why would anyone learn the lesson?
Right.
Anyway, a few weeks ago, she was, convicted. Her sentencing is supposed to be in September 2022. So I think September 26, 2022 is when her sentencing is going to happen. So we'll see if she actually does any jail time for this stuff.
Right.
But she was convicted of several counts of fraud and all these things. So let's see. But
we
kids,
shall see.
Don't do crimes. Don't do fake labs, and don't invite the vice president to walk through your fake lab. Let's
not do that. Let's please not do that.
Don't do that. If you're going to do a fake lab, make sure it's in Sims. Oh my goodness. Do people still play Sims?
I don't know, dude. I never played The Sims. Did you play The Sims?
I did at some point.
I used to play Sim
one
City.
Called Second Life. Do you remember Second Life? Did you ever play Second Life? There was Second Life was another one. I think I used to play this on PC at the time. But yeah, if you're going to do a fake lab, make sure it's a simulation and not real life, please.
A metaverse.
Otherwise,
fake lab.
you too. Metaverse, right. Yeah, if that, just keep your stuff on the side of the law, please, right?
With ethics.
And I just want to, yeah, exactly. Google ethics. Siri, what is ethics? Oh my goodness, all my Apple stuff is going to go off now and start telling me what ethics is. But I just also wanted to end the episode again, just because of this troubling, development that I saw again a couple of months ago. I just want to say, look, if you're an investor or if you're someone in tech or in any professional setting and you're holding up Elizabeth Holmes as the reason why women should not be trusted to lead organizations or teams or carry entrepreneurial ventures.
That's such a cop out.
I think you're pathetic, man. If that's really what you're spewing out there. I think that's absolute nonsense. Each person is unique and individual, and completely responsible for their own actions, and the actions of one person